What's up guys, YST here and welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And joined by me today is the one and only HWZ. How's it going, bro?
It's going great, bro. Feeling good, feeling great. We just did a video on my channel, so
Yep.
thanks for having me as always. Always fun collabing with you. So
Yeah.
just glad to be here.
And guys, as you just said, we just did a video over on his channel for like a game of Jeopardy and how well that apparently I might do or not know raids, which was definitely eventful at some points. So definitely check it out, guys. It'll be in the description alongside his channel. So make sure you guys go drop him a cheeky little sub, of course. But what we're going to be doing today is, I know that you're one of those players that are enjoying live arena, I'd say, from like what I've seen out there. So what do you kind of, as a quick fire question, the thing that you enjoy most about live arena, and then also the thing you kind of dislike about it at the moment?
I'm definitely enjoying, the rush. It feels good. It reminds me of Plat, and Plat is only once a week. So, just to get that feeling to actually be hands-on with the game, man, I feel like is great. We don't get to be hands-on a lot. A lot of things are just on auto farm. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm appreciating it.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. Like, I enjoy it, but then I just feel like my roster is just weak compared to some of the dudes out there when I'm fighting on top of that flaming Oreo. It's pretty funny in silver. But yeah, guys, what we're gonna be doing today is breaking down our top nukers in the epic category, and there's actually a few on this list that even surprised us just before recording this video, right? So, as the guest, would you like to kick us off with the first one here?
Yeah, so the first one is going to be Genbo the Dishonored.
Yes.
Shadowkin champion, Void epic champion. So he's not worried about affinity at all. Right down at the bottom, right there. Yeah. So he's got a great kit. If you have Amazon Prime, you were able to get him through that Amazon Prime code. So solid kit, self-buffing as well. You can build him with a ton of crit damage just because he's gonna place increased crit rate on himself. Solid champion all around, man. I would 100% build him if you need a nuker. He's good in classic. He's good in tag. Like, this dude has a solid kit. Decent base speed as well at 99. Some of the nukers can get really low as well, and he's also immune to decrease attack. He's going to ignore unkillable buffs when attacking. Under increased attack. So he's bringing a lot to the table. This dude's great.
Yeah, no, he's solid, man. He was actually my main arena nuker for a long time. I'd say about a year ago. And obviously, do you remember back in the day how he used to look different? He used to have his swords up and then they changed his aesthetics. Did you remember that switch?
Really?
Yeah.
Nah.
If you look at his older videos, he actually had a different stance where he was like this, like kind of holding his sword like that. And then they put it down, so he's just holding it towards the bottom now. Not sure why, but they did that. It was pretty fun. Yeah. But yeah, like you were saying, like he's got some really cool ways to. I call him the Leorius killer because he likes to ignore those unkillables, getting through those Swift Parry sets or the Skullcrowns, and that's kind of why I enjoy him from time to time. But yeah, man, really cool champion here. So next up, we're going to be heading into one that was obtainable from a fusion. I believe it was the Mother Cyber with Miss Cornelia herself, and it's going to be Magnaar. And if we can find him, I'm really bad with champions every single time. There he is. the flaming dude. So him on top of the Oreo is actually a sight to see. Have you tried that?
Oh, of course, yeah. Yep. The arena stages look crazy for live, bro. They're fire.
Do you know what? I see loads of people that don't like the sound in this game, right? But I always turn the sound down on my phone to listen to the music. They got like some funky, weird music that I just like, so it makes you get scared when I go in there. But yeah, Magnaar is one of those HP-based champions that absolutely shred. And I underestimated this dude for a long time. When he first came out, I read this kit as a Hydra kind of champion because of the way that he can extend some debuffs with the debuff transfer effects and stuff. But he has a lot of utility in Arena, right? Which is coming to fruition over the past year. Is this somebody that you've looked towards in like higher end Arena in specific teams?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I used him for quite a bit in tag team arena. I haven't used him much in classic arena, but as far as tag team goes, I did use him for quite a bit as a nuker, just because HP base, he's bringing some survivability. Coming in with 3 attack based nukers is difficult if you don't have champions that could support 3 attack based nukers and keep them alive. Especially like we're not all building go first teams. He's gonna thrive a lot better in a go second team. Solid pick. And this dude has some pretty good multipliers as far as
Yeah.
He's got a double hit as well. A lot of content creators are testing damage versus his damage when they go into Dragon to test new champions. So that just already shows you how, kind of OP he is.
Yeah, and one plus side, like you just mentioned, like being a HP based champion, like you're gonna be able to ramp that up and survive some of those big nukes coming your way. So just gives you that extra edge in some of those encounters, right? Especially if you're just progressing in the live arena. But all right, so next up is gonna be one that I've been a fan of for a long time, and I'm sure that you are as well. And it's gonna be Gala longbraids. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. How many times have you been baited into fighting a Gala thinking you could survive, and she just absolutely shreds you up?
It's never happened to me because
Never?
actually, I used to, I used Gala for a long time when I
Okay.
first started playing Raid. So I actually I've had a Gala at 60 for years now. I've known what she could do for a while.
Mhm.
I used to use her a ton, and then like Yulin, obviously, who's
Yeah.
also in the community. This is his favorite champion, right? So we first started together, pretty early. I was building Gala comps for him for a while, so I've known what this champion could do for a long time, and
Oh,
if I
yeah, one
see
of
one on
those.
defense, yeah, if I
Yeah.
see one on defense, I know what to expect. I know what they're trying to do. So it's not
Yeah.
gonna surprise me. No one's gonna surprise me with a Gala. I already know what you're trying to do.
Do you know what it is? Sometimes you get hit with somebody that puts like a 6-star blessing Gala and then a +2 Rotos. And then you actually sit and think, like, which one do I ban here? Because Gala's ruthless, man. Like, if you got somebody in bolster or shield set and you come through and you nuke and then you go through with that extra turn and then you just absolutely nuke again. One of the most hard-hitting epic champions in this game, period, right? And if you guys have her and you want to start participating in Arena, not just live, a very strong candidate out there for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'm only scared if they have someone like a Necrit and they protect her with Necrit. Then you have a problem.
Yeah, that's when you start thinking like you left the battle in your thing. All right, who we got next here?
So next on the list is another awesome epic champion. That's going to be Inquisitor Shamael. Yo, this dude, his A2 ability is actually, insane, right? Because he's going to ignore 25% of the target's defense, and if you put some buffs on him, you scale that up to 100 very quickly, in comps with like Duchess, and, you bring in Bolster. You can even put him in, I've seen people put in him in Stone Skin with like a bolster champion. He's going to start the match with 2 buffs already on him. Like, you don't even need to put him in Savage per se. You don't really need to even take Helm Smasher on him. You just get some buffs on him and like stack as much damage stats as you can, even like speed, damage and speed. Get him going fast. If you start the match with enough buffs, like he's going to smack. Like, he's known to nuke down Duchesses, single target, just going crazy. He's going to counterattack, when someone places a debuff on your team. And his A1 has, a decent ability. If you give him accuracy, he could decrease the duration of buffs on the enemy as well. So, this champion is amazing. Obviously, a lot of people use him at Hydra, but, as far as arena goes, oh man, he's going to smack you.
Yeah, he's a great one. He's one that I've faced once in the arena, once or twice so far, and I never managed to lose against it, but he did absolutely one-shot one of my champions. I was like, oh, I've been nuked here. Because as you just said, we always use him in Hydra and we forget how much of a value this has here. Because back in the day, I used to use, do you know that Siffy wave in the Doom Tower? The one with the Siffy and the Rotos. I didn't have a Seer at that point, and he was the champion that got me through that because I could just literally one-shot anybody I wanted on that wave. So yeah, a lot of utility, definitely worth building.
Yeah.
All right, so next up is going to be one called Alika. Now, Alika is very underrated in my opinion. She's got some very strong damage multipliers, but she also does an increasing of cooldown, very similar to like a Warlord or a Yamaiko. It's kind of like a budget variation, but it does it all skills by 2 turns, also with an attack. So being able to get this out if you don't have those sort of lockout champions is actually a good idea. Granted, it is the Force Affinity, so just be wary of weak hits. It doesn't just like place like a Yamaiko. And then we've also got this ability here that can ignore 50% of the target's defense if their HP is higher than this champion. So if you're going for those revivers like a Pythion, whoever that may be, where you know that they're ramping up those stats, no problems getting through that and just one-shotting those targets. So yeah, I think pretty good option out there, right? For single target alongside with some cooldown effects.
Yeah, definitely. Solid option there. You could,
Hmm.
bring her in to kind of fill two roles because even if you don't build her with like a ton of accuracy, right?
Hmm.
Everybody on the opponent picks is not going to have a ton of resist. So chances are you'll get to potentially increase the cooldown of the nuker or
Yeah.
maybe one of their CC champions like a Mighty Yuko or somebody who's coming in to, CC you and they might necessarily be built with a lot of resist. So it's a great thing to have, right? You're not expecting to have her come in and be warlord, but she's bringing you some utility, right? And
Yeah.
damage as well. So great champion for sure.
Yeah, I'd say more of a progression champion, right? If you're trying to like get through bronze a bit and just be a bit competitive and you don't have that single target nuker, you might have Alika in the vault, right? Also,
Yep.
guys, before we get to the next one, if you're seeing that I've got like 1,000,000 gems, we are on the test server because unfortunately the game has maintenance at the time of recording. So we still need the index, right? But all right,
Yeah.
who we got next here?
Next we have Fenax, who is crazy. This dude's
Crazy.
absolutely crazy. He's scary. He's
Have you
scary.
seen
Because
Nubraid's new image for his YouTube channel?
with the Fenax,
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Oh, classic. Yeah,
He
what
does
you
look a little like Fenax.
he is basically Fenax. Like, if you use Fenax, you're basically using Nubraids.
Nah, his A1 though smacks. He has one of the hardest hitting
Yeah.
A1s in the game, bro. And block revive on the A1 and potential chance to place an extra hit
Hmm.
as well. So it's completely broken. We bring him in with ally attack, right? You put him in the last slot, allow him to be the last person that hits, and bye. They're not getting back up, right? It's
Yeah.
a strong champion for Live Arena, possibly one of the strongest epics, if not the strongest epic you could bring in for a Live Arena. Just because of that, like that block revive. And
Yeah.
obviously he smacked. Like block revive is crazy because you ban one nuker, they only have one nuker, you block revive that nuker. Now you just gotta, slowly win the match. Doesn't matter how, you got 30 minutes to kill their other three champions. Like
Yeah.
easy.
Now, I actually slept on this dude for ages, and my chat kept shouting at me. They're like, oh, why don't you just use Fenax for this team? Because I've got a Neefweed Blood Twin, right, but I never booked him. They're like, oh, just use the Fenax. It's all good. And I was just there, like, hiding, like, yo, I ain't maxed the Fenax here, guys. Sorry, man. They're like, how have you not done that for Ice Golem? So I've maxed him up, and I've had some fun with him, man. He's good. He's really good, right? Especially if you've got, like,
Yeah,
the counterattack masteries and you're going through, or ally attacks. It's just so powerful with this A1, for sure.
Yeah, even in like a comp with a counterattack champion, that's gonna be annoying.
Yeah. So, all right, heading into the next one here. Once again, pretty underrated in my personal opinion. How do you say this name? I heard Mad Kappa say it. I think he said Fylja is how you say it. I've been saying Fylja.
Fylja, because the J would be like
Silent.
it
Yeah.
would be silent. It depends on who you
Yeah.
ask, but I
But
would say Fylja.
Fylja, Fylja, Fylja. You guys let us know in the comments how you'd say that. But I was actually very underestimating how much damage output she has. Is this somebody that you've tried on in your personal time?
I haven't tried her for damage, but I
Hmm.
actually so when I was doing referral accounts, this was a champion that I picked up, and
Hmm.
it was just primarily using her for turn meter.
Yeah.
Um, Manipulation and what have you. That's kind of what people promote her as. This person you could come in, do some turn meter for you early game, maybe help you out in Fire Night or
Yeah.
what have you. So I never got around to even trying to build her for damage on that referral account,
Yeah.
man.
So what makes her so unique? And I'm always a big fan of, like, do you know Kanjafans or Leorius, where they got a way of self-sustain. So then if one of your main champions get banned, if you don't have a wide range of champions, they've got a way of self-buffing and still doing a good job. And that's kind of what I wanted to implement into this list as well. But her passive with Boon Chant, if this champion has 2 or fewer buffs at the start of the turn, places a 50% increased attack and crit damage buff on this champion for 1 turn. So this is basically a way to amplify her damage without the need of an increased attack alongside her. And then she's going to come through, attack all enemies and fill her turn meter and heal them of the damage inflicted if this attack is critical. So I just feel like it's a very cool synergy for those quick nukes alongside some turn meter manipulation by 100%, by the way. So if you build it with some accuracy, maybe take down a Duchess or a Reviver or a Nuker in their paths. And then also destroy some max HP, which can actually be pretty viable as well, especially if you're against targets with multiple revives, right? I just want to chunk them down. So yeah, and it's got a cap on it by 50%, but to stop them from consistently reviving in those 30-minute runs, I think she will have some use for some players out there for sure.
Yeah. She's She's definitely very usable, especially if
Yeah.
you don't have a ton of options. You have her, you know, just like many other champions, invest and see what you can come up with.
Yeah, for sure. It's always fun to get creative, right? I know you're a big fan of that on your channel. Lots of
Yeah,
arena stuff.
man.
So
Got to get creative.
yeah, man. All right, who we got next?
Next, we got Dark Elhain,
Nice.
who is a champion, most people will have,
Oh
right? If
God.
you've logged in
Oh,
long
God.
enough.
We go wrong
She's
again.
dude, I did the same thing with Hades. She's an undead. I did
Undead.
the
Oh,
exact same
she
thing.
is. Yeah.
I was like Dark Elhain, Dark Elves. Yo, I
Yeah.
literally just did this yesterday. But Dark Elhain's a great champion, right? We obviously, notice she counters torment teams, right? If
Mhm.
you bring her in against a torment team, she pretty much gets like 2 chances to go nuke you very easily.
Yeah.
She's you know, she's a free champion, right?
Mhm.
So how can you not take advantage of someone with decent multipliers, right? AoE ability. She's gonna instantly remove freezes from your comp. I see people using like frost set UDKs now, right?
Oh,
Where
really? Okay.
a little tip there, you didn't know
Damn.
that,
I
huh?
didn't know that.
Yeah,
See stone
yeah,
skins
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah,
Uh,
stone skin one set of frostbite. So because it's a two-piece set. So say, you get matched up against something like that, because you're not gonna see a ton of torments in live unless in the early tiers you might see some torments in live. You bring in somebody like Dark Elhain, easily get it done for your team. She has a great kit.
Yeah, she's also got like a strengthen in there to like mitigate some damage. So if one of your
Mm-hmm.
revivers get a freeze or something and cleanse that off, put some strengthen, and once again, like the Fylja, destroys the target's max HP by damage inflicted. And
Yep.
I think this is gonna like there's that blessing, right? The life harvest, and that's one
Yep.
that
Yep.
I've been using a ton recently. Like I switched most of my legendary champions into that because I've been sat in battles for like 25 minutes out of pride, and the only way to counter that is to just destroy the max HP, pretty much. So I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of this skill nowadays.
Yep. Yep. Great champion. Great champion.
All right, next up, a big shout out to Smiley. one that I never got for ages, and he tried to pull me it, but I managed to pull it myself. And it's Miss Skullcrown. Took me 2.5 years to get or something. And what's really cool about her is it's not just the damage output. It's actually she's got a speed aura by 23%, guys. So if you just to say you've only got an arbiter and a Skullcrown, and then now you haven't got a speed aura, well, you've got a way of having the best of both worlds of a speed aura while dealing damage and an unkillable buff on this champion once she goes down to a specific HP, right? Very similar to Leorius. So
Mm-hmm.
also like a nice pairing feature. Like Sinestha's not a bad option for like early game or mid game when you're going into this, because maybe have a CC Sinestha in a stun set and then a Skullcrown nuking and it just controlling them completely. Could be a fun synergy,
Yeah.
right?
Definitely. I mean, obviously, someone's going to want to ban one of the pairing. But if you
Yeah.
have a more bannable champion in there, then,
Yeah.
you bringing in somebody who's more scary, then you get both of them. And like Sinestha also doubles as like a support. She can do heals. She's going to do the HP balance for you. So
Mhm.
very strong champion, Skullcrown, especially when paired with Sinestha, right? You can do a ton. She's got 2 AoE abilities. Can also place weekend before she smacks with the A2. So
Mm.
like yeah, I don't see her a ton anymore, but there was like a Gold Crown like counterattack meta where people were building her and like avenging or what have you, retaliation.
Yeah.
So still strong for the early game, mid game. She's still amazing.
Yeah. Really cool champion. I
Hmm.
don't even think I use it anywhere. I was like, I wanted it so bad, I might just make her my campaign farmer, but we'll see.
You don't use it. I use her a ton in like Doom Tower secret rooms.
um Maybe I do use her for Dare. Maybe. Who knows? Shouts go on anyway. All right, so in the same faction, actually, we've got the man with no face.
Hmm.
This could actually be a cool question for maybe a future Jeopardy. This
Yeah,
champion
true.
has no face.
I
But
like that.
yeah, but basically, this champion can ignore shield and block damage buffs as well as defense. Now, this is one of the best single target nukers for an epic, and just wanting to just go through and just one shot anybody has a lot of potential with the ice bolt. Now, the rest of the kit is not like nothing to write home about. It's okay. There's chances of placing extra hits or increasing the crit buff on this champion. But the main thing is get this out, nuke who you want to, and hope for the best from there, pretty much. It's like a one-hit wonder, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But like you bring him in with somebody like a Lydia, and now the other team has a problem
Yeah.
because they're not gonna be able to revive.
So yeah, the man with no face about to catch a case. Okay,
hmm
next up, who we got?
We got Nogoryo,
Oh,
Shadowkin Epic.
we got to get the mask on for this one. H Dubs. He's got a very similar one. We got the reds. So I actually asked Raid at one time when they released Nogoryo Fusion. I said, "Can you send me this mask?" And they said, "We'll think about it." And then I'm still waiting. I don't know what's going on. But yeah,
Dude, I wish I could get a hat from them or something.
oh, I actually got one piece of merchandise, which was the Hydra boss. We did like when the Hydra came out, they made us all get a T-shirt which spelled out Hydra, and that was the way to like reveal it to the
Oh,
community. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, man, give us some hats, guys. Raid, please, if you're watching. I know there's probably one artist in here who made Nogoryo. He's like Nogoryo T-shirts and a hat for H Dubs. That'd be nice.
there we go.
Yeah. So all right, Nogoryo. What we liking about him?
So AoE on the A3, right, decreases the cooldown,
Mm-hmm.
right? A2 ability, has a chance to place a block buffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the multiplier is on the high multiplier. That's on the A2 or the A3.
It's on the A3 on this
It's
one.
on the A3,
Yeah.
right? So the AoE completely smacks his
Yep.
passive ability, right? He's self buffing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the buff cannot be removed, right? So it's a protected buff. So you're going against like a Yuko or something like that. Strong ability there. You don't need increased attacks. So say you're bringing him in with like some other turn meter booster that doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
that's not Arbiter, right? He's going
Mm-hmm.
to self buff. Strong ability for sure, and definitely smacks. Just a nice budget option overall.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Like the downside is, of course, you need to manage to get a champion below that 30% HP before he places that increased attack. But in these longer
hmm
battles, should be able to come through. But if you are pairing with an increased attack, being able to do this and decrease some of the cooldowns of this skill makes it come around a bit quicker. And once again, one of those one-trick ponies. You tried nuke, fingers crossed, and then hopefully you kill some people, right? Let's go.
Yeah, yeah,
But
and
even the block buffs is not too bad as well. Like block buffs is very
right.
impactful on some of these champions, and being magic affinity, being able to counter maybe a Duchess hypothetically or some of those spirit affinities, pretty good, man. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And he's an accessible option for people. So,
yeah, being the fusion, right?
hmm
Yeah. All right. So next up is going to be pleaser. Pray that he's in here. Yes, I
he
got
is.
him. Dirandil. I actually only knew about this champion because I seen one from Ash, right? And it said, I waited so long to max up this champion, or something along those lines. He's actually pretty impressive because he ignores 50% of the target's defense, and it also places a perfect veil on this champion, so mitigating damage and hiding himself from a single target Nukers. So I think this Royal Assassin is pretty underrated. He also attacks all enemies and ignores a further 15% of defense, and then fills this champion's turn meter by 10% based on critical hits. So he's like an Energizer Bunny, filling his crit rate, he's ignoring defense, single targets, self buffs, and perfect veils. I just think he's got an overall nice kit for players out there. Have you had much
Yeah.
playtesting of this dude?
No, I haven't, man. I haven't.
Okay.
He has a very nice kit though. I should definitely look into him. I
Mhm.
didn't know that he was much of a damage dealer before like we
Yeah.
were looking at, the champions. I was like, yo, I haven't invested in this guy. So maybe this is
Yeah.
somebody I definitely need to invest in. Nogoryo as well. I wasn't really aware of his kit before. And I was like,
Mhm.
all right, this dude has some potential. So always some, champions you don't know about. And it's always refreshing to like, someone else has done their due diligence to
Yeah.
really try to see how they shine. So shout out to you, shout out to Ash for sure.
Yeah. Nogoryo is one of those champions, like, because he was the fusion and I just love the Shadow Kid. I was like, let me just do it. It's like a 1 week fusion, right? And then
hmm
I was like, I used him. I was like, this guy is actually pretty impressive, man. Because even in my faction wars, like, he's not going to be the best nuker in the world for me. But in faction wars, he clears it with Genzin, like pretty much duo in like a minute. They just run through that like it's no man's business. But yeah, just to throw in here as well, Dirandil has an A1 double hit chance to freeze. So an extra form of crowd control in the kit as well. So nice little throw in there. All right, so we're coming
hmm
towards the end here. We've got 3 more on the list. Who we got next? Was it me?
Next we got
Yeah,
Mistrider,
yeah, we got
Sylvan
Mistrider.
Watchers. This dude can smack, yo. And he's got a really nice kit. I actually 6-star 2 of him on my
Okay.
account, just for the faction for like when it opens. But like another one of those like self buffing champions, right? Gets
Hmm.
the extra turn, right? He's placing the buffs for 3 turns, which is huge. Most people, they're gonna only place buffs for 2 turns. So
Hmm.
depending on the masteries you take, he can have that up for 4 turns. And we're talking about live arena is like a longer fight, right? So
Yeah.
to have those buffs up for that amount of time, to be able to, place decreased defense, right? And he gets an extra turn if the decreased defense is placed on everyone. That's a crazy skill because the A1 also has a chance to place an extra turn. So this dude can just get into a rhythm of completely, taking over the fight. Now, obviously, in the later stages, no, he's probably not going to place decreased defense on everyone and get that
Yeah.
extra turn there. But like, I like nukers who can do single target and AoE. This guy can do single target and AoE and self buffs increase attack. Like
Yeah.
solid champion for sure. He absolutely smacks. I seen a video you did. You and Nubs were testing some stuff out on the test server, and mistrider was absolutely like
Yeah,
it was hitting.
he's really good, man. It's like all those extra turns, he's just hopping around everywhere. Like, please stop, stop riding on us, Mr. Rider.
Mhm.
But yeah, even the stealing buffs and or the removing buffs, sorry, can actually be pretty impactful as well because he's got the increased accuracy. And traditionally, with like Nuka champions, it's pretty hard to get the accuracy stats and the damage stats in one. So being able to place that on himself gives you that extra chance to actually go through and remove those buffs, whether that be unkillable or whatever nasty ones they like to throw out there. But yeah, I'm a
Mhm.
big fan of this dude, man. Do you like to say his
Yeah.
name? Do you like to say his name? I'm putting you on the spot here.
Daithi.
No, so basically,
Daithi.
Nubs is Irish, and he told me that it's Mistrider Dahi, which basically means Dave in Irish. So
Dahi.
Dahi, yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah, a little bit of
Another thing I was gonna say, I wonder how his kit is how the A1 is coded. Like he
Mhm.
attacks first, and I guess the chance to remove is based on the attack, right? So it would be, I think it would be crazy if like he had a chance to remove the buff before attacking.
Oh yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice.
Uh, That would be a great change for him. But
I was gonna
who
say
who
even
we
a
got?
even a steal here would have been nice. Like steal some stone skin or something.
Exactly. Yeah, make the epics more viable, Polarium.
Yeah, let's go. All right, Seer. Now, the thing is with Seer, right? She's traditionally known as one of those champions for like speed farming the dungeons, the Doom Tower, and all of that good stuff. But there's actually been some times where I've seen her absolutely shred an arena in teams where you've got like multiple buffs up, right? Because you remove all the buffs and then boom. So she's kind of like a strip champion slash nuke champion slash sleep. And I just think she's like an underrated choice for players that's built up for dungeons anyway in high damage. I could just implement it as a second or third option as a nuker in those go second arena teams. Is this something that you've dabbled into on at all with arena?
So so I've considered it. I've
Okay.
considered it. And I've seen some teams do it well, but I
Hmm.
think that it is something that you have to find almost perfect synergy to bring in a champion like Seer to make that happen for you, right? Cuz
Hmm.
one of two things can happen, right? You could bring her in, you could be the team that, buffs everything and then you're stripping most of your own buffs, or you could go into the fight, rely on your opponent to be buffing, and then maybe you come in with a couple buffs. Maybe you have a shield set, maybe you have some immunity or what have you, and then like you strip there as well. So it's like somebody either has to come in. Both teams either have to come in with removable buffs, and you have to have enough accuracy to remove those buffs. Because if she doesn't, like say when you use her in Doom Tower waves, right?
Hmm.
When you're going up against the what's his name, the epic that places decreased Seeker teams, right?
Oh
The
yeah.
seek the those waves with the Seekers, when he places the decreased defense, if your Seer is not strong enough, he plays that decreased defense after the hit. Like you might not kill him. So like say you don't strip all the buffs right from the team, like the damage is based on the buffs, right? So if you're not
Yeah.
removing them, then you're not getting as much damage. So you're gonna need some accuracy in arena. But the thing that she does have going for herself is because of polymorph, a lot of people aren't building with high resist, right?
Mm.
So those people, that's just something to know. If you're not using, If they have polymorph, chances are they don't want to resist your debuff. They want to sheep you, so they might not have a whole lot of resist. So you bring her in with like an increased accuracy, obviously for setup more, and or get her even like with a decent amount of just speed and accuracy. She doesn't need any other damage stats to make it happen. So you just got to find the right synergy for like how you want it to work. Are you going to be the one buffing, or are you relying on stripping your opponent's buffs, right? So
Yeah.
just knowing that going in it helps so much. Her A1 could do some damage though if you build her with attack, but we're obviously relying on the nuke, right? And chance to get an extra turn. She has nice base speed at 104, so definitely a champion you can bring in, especially everyone's building with high HP as well. So enemy max HP skill, everyone's using high HP champions, just because like we got people that could just kill you through stone skin now. Everyone's pretty much ignoring 100% of defense, so defense isn't helping you out much anymore. Like a viable champion, just it's gonna be a bit difficult to make work for certain accounts.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe just like as a maybe third option, like if you got like an extra spare there, and then everyone gets banned, then potential,
third
right?
option.
Yeah, fifth option, sixth option. All right, so the last one we're actually going to do this one together because we actually just added this to the list last second, and it's Gerard the Stone, right? Now, do you want to break down what is so cool about this champion that we just kind of found out?
Yeah, man. So this guy, he's got a pretty nice kit. Now, I only found out about him because one of the viewers commented on the video. He was like, "Yo, man, I'm using Gerard the Stone." So I was like, "All right, why?" So I had to look at him. He's self-buffing, right? He's gonna place increased crit rate, increased crit damage. We love a self-buffing nuker who could come in. We don't have to build them with 100% crit rate. They're gonna self-buff, and you can go to town. He's going to ignore defense as well, ignore more defense if they're under increased defense. His passive is also crazy, bro, because he's immune to fear, true fear, freeze, provoke, sleep, stun, and petrification. So very strong passive ability. It's on it. Obviously, there's a cooldown on it, but that's super strong. The A1 also chance to stun. Like, this dude is nice. Now, single target, obviously not the greatest. And, it's only a one-hit ability on his nuke, which doesn't help you that much. I prefer to have people that do multiple hits if they're single target, just because, you want to counter Rotos, you want to try to counter reaction, right? If you only get one hit in and reaction procs, now you're waiting all over again for like him to have a chance to nuke again. So that's the only downside I would say really is the fact that like this ability does not, hit more than one time. But I still think he's a pretty strong champion, 5.5 multiplier on the nuke. So
yeah, I think like for anybody out there that doesn't have those champions or a wide range of rosters and you just want to have some fun with not even just live arena, just classic arena as well, or if you're trying to build a Bannerlords Faction Wars team and an extra nuker in your account, like that's a big amount of defense to ignore. And if you consider that increased defense being one of the most popular buffs to put on champions for support, that's a big amount to be able to one-shot like most of the revivers out there, right? Being at a 5.5 multiplier. Some CC in there, being able to immune, like just to say they open up with a, I don't know, a Kaima or a stun champion or a freeze champion like a Tormin. Like being able to just resist that once and get off what you want to get off actually has a lot of value, right? 100%. So
Yep.
pretty cool one there to finish off with, I guess. H-Dubs. It's been so nice to have you on the channel once again. We'll definitely have you back soon again for something else. I'm sure we can plan that in the future. But yeah, you got anything else coming up this week apart from obviously we got the Jeopardy that we talked about earlier. Make sure you guys go check that out. But anything else you got planned on the channel?
Well, my birthday is this weekend, so I'm just gonna be pulling some sacreds this weekend. And yeah, man. Other than that, no, not for this week. We had, your Jeopardy was the second Jeopardy this week, so maybe we'll get somebody in next week. But
yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, all right, that sounds cool. And happy birthday in advance if I don't catch you by then. And hopefully Raid boosts your odds to like 95.9674% to get a legendary. And it's going to be the exact one you want, which is going to be... Which legendary do you want?
I want Harima.
Okay, actually kind of thought you'd want Harima. I like her, she's good. I get new a lot.
I need a dupe.
Oh, you already got one. You need two.
Yeah, I've
Uh,
had Harima for a long time.
oh god, that's cool, man. But all right, guys. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. All of HWZ's socials will be in the description below. Make sure you guys drop him a sub and all of that good stuff. Check out the Jeopardy episode we did earlier. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in the video soon. And peace.